I don't like it. What I don't like about differentiation is a lot of baggage that comes with it. So I was going to say, hands up if you've got that on your performance management target or in your school as a big priority. Differentiation this year. Oh, it's not as many as I thought. So it's a big thing. In my school, it's a whole school push. And I'm a linguist, and I just thought there's a lot of language around it I really don't like, and I don't like the sound of it, and I think it's a bit of a game that we play. We're not being really honest with the students sometimes. I think we talk about it with the teachers, but with the kids, well, I'll show you what I mean with that. So, here we are. Anyway, the more I unpick differentiation, the less I like it. I mean, that's one of the things. Linked to it for me, other trouble is, if you want to differentiate for all the kids in your classroom, that's kind of your average classroom probably. Yes, I want all the kids to make as much progress as they can, but I think a lot of the hoops that come traditionally with this differentiation, I just really disapprove or disagree with. So what can I do? The bit more the problem is it does feel like labelling, or a lot of it with differentiation is, low ability, or higher ability, weak kids. So, yeah, so there's all the ways of addressing that up. And I really agree with David saying at the beginning, we want all the kids to excel and to do really well, but, they do that. So I can see that. And the other round as well. So, this. So, how do we get out of that? So, differentiate yourself. So, why should I differentiate from my students? They can do it themselves. It's not my job. I explain the work and give them good examples, but then I don't want to create loads of different routes through my lesson for them. That's just not practical. That's not realistic. I don't think it's right. I think that's something the kids should do for themselves. So the differentiation should come from them, not from me. Right, so the first thing I don't like about differentiation is because there's language around it. So to kind of label each level of ability with, that's and this goes from really thick to really clever. So whenever you learn a new skill, you go through a process. So you start not being able to do it, and then at the end you can do it. So whether that's any practical skill, any sport you play. So you start with breakthrough. I think that's quite a positive thing. Yeah, you managed to do it. Well done. You just become skilled at it, so you can do it now. You know what you're doing, and then you become the expert at the end. So now you can do it really well, and you're ready for the next step. But whatever you learn, so in languages, whether it's a certain topic or a grammatical point, you all start with nothing, and you hopefully leave the lesson with having learned as much as you can. So I thought that's a much more positive way of addressing that. That's how I explain to the students in the first lesson when I launched this and say, okay, this is how any other skill, if you learn football, you can loads of practice makes permanent. I know say from now, I'm not perfect. So I discussed that with the students, what those 3 different levels mean and the concept with the skills. And then I just said, okay, last lesson we learned, my subject, GCSE class year 10, word order, so we've learned how to put a sentence together. Right, there's a jumbled up sentence, and that's a starter. I would normally use loads of lessons, like a little starter, that unjumble the words. And I said, okay, for the 3 different levels now, so if you left last lesson thinking, I'm not quite sure, what should you be able to do? And ask the kids to discuss, so what's the first level, breakthrough level? Okay, unjumble it with maybe one mistake. That's from the kids. And then for the middle level, they say, well, you should be able to unjumble it without any mistakes. And then we say, okay, if you left last lesson thinking, no, I'm really good at this, what should you be able to do? And the kids say, well, unjumble it and then give a reason why, or add a connective, so extend the sentence. I say, okay, well, you've told me that, why go do that now? Think which level you're at, you do it now. So so I thought the benefit is they thought about their learning rather than me saying, okay, here's 3 options, pick the one that's best for you. And they all extended themselves, that was every child did what they could do to the best of their ability. So I said, if you think on reflection from last lesson that you're at the breakthrough stage, I'll give you some support, because that's what we agreed as a class. So here's the first and the last phrase, put the rest in order, and don't look at the board if you don't need it. And then we looked at the rest, and then we went through some examples of the ones, okay, who thought they were an expert? Okay, well, give me some examples. And it was a really nice dialogue with the class, because there were quite a few, you had your more lively characters when they say, oh, I'm expert. And you say, okay, right, you go and do that then. And there was definitely kids who normally would have just unjumbled it fine, written it down, who then really tried to live up to that expectation when they said, oh, I'm an expert. And they did, you know, much harder work or more work than they normally would do. So, and then I use that a lot now, and I've laminated that in my classroom on the whiteboard, so I don't use it every lesson, because then it becomes really boring. But with certain tasks, it works really well with saying, okay, well here's the work I've prepared for you, that's what we done last lesson. Think which level you're at, okay, what, and then the dialogue is my favourite thing to say, okay, what should you want to do, and then go and do it. So differentiation happens, ideas from the kids, and then I throw it back at them and say, okay, you suggested those things, so I go and do them. And we'll discuss them, and we'll say, well, why is that an expert sentence? What's missing? You know, discuss the mistakes. That's, I think, where the learning really happens. So for these examples, then they said, oh yeah, for the expert, you say change the tense, so make it from a past into a future tense. And I would never have thought of that. I would never have asked the class to do that. But I think I've got loads of different ideas myself now, how to differentiate work, or how to, you know, create different types of exercises based on what the students suggested. So I've discussed this with my department and other departments, and from science and maths, people are saying that's a really simple idea to transfer with those 3 stages. And the next step now for my own department is that we're going to have that as a departmental strategy to tick the big box of differentiation for our whole school plan. But I generally believe that's a much more meaningful way to differentiate in the classroom, because it puts them on the kids to do the work, to think about their learning themselves, not us telling them, you know, how to do it, what to do it, to get to the next level. And the next step I suppose for this is that once you are, you know, if you think you're a breakthrough, how would you move to the next level? And again, have that conversation with them. And that's it. Perfect timing. Thank you.